Do you need me to give it some slack so that you can get it on?
Not a lot. I can get it on, I just can't hold it tight.
We're doing yard work. I'm helping. So here's the story. The lights came down when a big branch from our fir tree fell into the yard and knocked down the light pole that's in the center of the yard. So now we have to redo the center post. But the problem is that the one that I'm standing on is not cemented in. It's just in some rocks. So I have to hold this one and not let it go. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Let go easy? You want me to probably step off of it? So we're trying to readjust so that I can't let the post that I'm holding onto go so that it doesn't send the rest of the lights toppling. Our task was only moderately successful, so I took some pictures of flowers in our backyard while I was waiting. These are blueberries, and no one knows what these are. So we have steak that we were originally going to eat for dinner, but we forgot to put it in the fridge, and it was in the freezer while we were working outside. So we changed plans a little bit. We have some hamburger, and we have some tomatoes that are about to die. So we decided to make bolognese sauce. Now, the last time I had bolognese was when I was in Italy, and I'm sure that this is not going to be that. We're improvising, so it calls for finely diced onion, 1 rib of celery, and 1 carrot, but we don't have regular carrots, so we improvised with baby carrots instead. And then we're trying to decide what kind of pasta we want to use. It calls for a specific type of pasta that we don't have, but we have lots of other types of pasta. And then instead of red wine, I think we're going to use beef broth. Right. Listed that as an alternative. I'm not sure how those are similar, but and then it also calls for some milk, which we currently have a lot of. Those are all the things that go into it. Then we're going to cheat a little bit and use a pre-made pasta sauce to start us off, but we're going to add tomatoes to it instead of the crushed canned tomatoes. So hopefully it will taste good. It took a ridiculous amount of time to chop up all of the vegetables, but we ultimately started by browning the meat. And then we took out the meat when it was finished browning so that we could start from the beginning. So we added the vegetables, the onion, carrot, and celery. I added the onion first just to let it cook a little bit. Then we added in the meat, and then we added the beef broth, the milk, and stirred that all in. Now you're supposed to use whole milk so that it doesn't curdle. We didn't, but so far nobody got sick. And then you add the tomatoes and the tomato sauce, and this is what it looked like while it was simmering. The recipe said to let it simmer with a lid on, so the pan we originally used didn't have one, so we had to transfer pans to put the lid on. But after having done it, we would recommend not using the lid because it needs to thicken up a little bit more than it was able to. Then we just grated some fresh Parmesan cheese to put on top. And once it thickened up, this is kind of what it looked like. And on top of our pasta, gotta add that cheese. Here we go. It kind of just tastes like spaghetti. All right, I'm cutting in here to let you know that the pasta was way better second day. So the longer it sits, the more flavor it has. And again, we would recommend not doing it with the lid on the top because it just thinned it out with all the steam coming back in. So we simmered out some of the liquid, and the longer it sat, the more thick it became. So it became a lot more flavorful after time. But at the moment, it's tasted like Prego sauce. But next days, tasted great. It's the first day of barbecuing. We are making hamburgers and I'm very excited. I am the grill master. We can't find the metal spatula, so we're using plastic, so hopefully it doesn't melt. Oh. There's a hair back here that belongs to me.
Oh, it's gone now.
Woo! One of the things I always forget is that my medical bracelet is metal, and so when it's overheat, every time I'm spatula-ing, it can be pretty warm. They have been cheesed. Some of them more than others. We watched the movie yesterday, which is based on all of the Beatles songs, and now I have Beatles songs stuck in my head. So I started working on trying to figure out the opening plucking pattern for Dear Prudence, and I'm working on a little vignette of that, parody of that I'll show you when I'm done. But the finger picking is supposed to be like a good beginner finger picking, but I can tell you that my fingers hurt. And it was not easy. There was a lot of stopping and starting. I'll spare you the 15-16 minutes of footage. So for Mother's Day, my mom wanted a nothing day. That's what she called it. So we just really hung out and did a lot of nothing. We went for a drive around new areas of town that we haven't been to for a long time. Really, we just do that to get yard ideas, but she had me take a bunch of pictures with my camera. This time I took pictures with my real camera, my nice camera, not my phone. So I'll show you some of the pictures that I took that will ultimately be framed for my mom's Mother's Day, post-Mother's Day gift. Okay, this one I took when we came back home, these next ones, and I have to tell you, I have never laid so still in my entire life. I have no idea why all of the pictures of flowers that I took were pink flowers. I don't know, I guess I just find pink flowers attractive. It's also very hard to take pictures while you're driving, just as an FYI. So maybe don't. Walks are much easier to take pictures on. But In all seriousness, we had a really great Mother's Day. And of course, want to wish all of the moms and pseudo moms and stepmoms and teachers that act as moms, grandmas, all a happy Mother's Day because they shape who we are as people. So I love you very much, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you soon. Bye. This is gonna be so long. Oh, why did I think this was a good idea?